Today I want to talk about why a second Donald Trump presidency could be the best thing that's ever happened for your financial future, and why it could increase the price of your portfolio even if the price of your favorite asset doesn't go up. Right now, according to Polymarket election forecast, it looks like Donald Trump has about a 65% chance of winning this election, and Harris has only a 34% chance. I mean, it doesn't really mean that exactly. It just means that that's how people feel, and that's what they're betting on with their money, which I think is actually more important than the people that they call and try to poll, because most people that really matter and are actually going to be voting don't have time to do those kind of polls. However, they are always trying to make some extra money, and people love to gamble. But this doesn't mean that you shouldn't go out and vote, because obviously we had to make this thing too big to rig, and we got to swamp the vote, or whatever you want to call it, but we got to get it done, and we can't get complacent because of big numbers like this. Recently, the price of Bitcoin and really most other assets has been on the rise, and in my opinion, one of the biggest things that's been pushing it to the upside is that we're starting to see the uncertainty leave the market around what the actual next administration is going to look like. For several months now, we've been going basically down, but just consolidating, and I think that was probably because of the uncertainty. And now, since it looks like the pro-crypto candidate is going to be winning, obviously that looks like it's going to be good for crypto over the next 4 years, and that's going to send the price up. This isn't why I think it's actually going to be life-changing for you, though, and this isn't why I think it's going to make the price of your portfolio increase. I think it's probably because of one of the things Donald Trump talked about on Joe Rogan the other day, and that is, as Donald Trump put it, the most beautiful word in the English language.
To me, the most beautiful word, and I've said this for the last couple of weeks, in the dictionary today, is the word tariff. It's more beautiful than love. It's more beautiful than anything. It's the most beautiful word. This country can become rich with the proper use of tariffs.
Did you just float out the idea of getting rid of income taxes and replacing it with tariffs?
Well, okay.
Were you serious about that?
Yeah, sure. But why not? Because our country was the richest relatively in the 1880s and 1890s. A president who was assassinated named McKinley. He was the tariff king. He spoke beautifully of tariffs. His language was really beautiful. We will not allow the enemy to come in and take our jobs and take our factories and take our workers and take our families unless they pay a big price. And the big price is tariffs. And he'd speak like that, but he was right. And then around in the early 1900s, they switched over stupidly to, frankly, an income tax. And you know why? Because countries were putting a lot of pressure on America. We don't want to pay tariffs. Please don't. Believe me, they control our politicians. If you look at the kind of numbers that these guys make then and now, but we had a commission meeting in the, I think it was 1887. Think of this problem. We were so rich. We had so much money. We didn't know what to do. So they set up a blue ribbon commission on tariffs. And the sole purpose is what to do with all the money we had.
What Donald Trump is talking about is that we've sent all of our corporations overseas, and those corporations have to actually work with the governments of those countries, like China, obviously, in order to operate in those countries. That means that the governments of those countries have significant pull over the companies, and those companies are the ones that lobby our politicians, giving pretty much a direct line of influence from the governments of some of our biggest enemies directly into our politicians. This is obviously a conflict of interest, and it's definitely not good for our country as a whole. Also, hopefully you already know this, but income tax wasn't always a thing here in America. The government has always been funded by tariffs until the 16th Amendment, and that's whenever it started being funded by us, the people. And now the people have been burdened with actually funding the government that's working against us, and these corporations get tax breaks to move their companies overseas, and they don't even end up paying for the government, which obviously screws over hardworking Americans like you and me. According to the ReaganLibrary.gov, before the income tax was established, the majority of funds given to the federal government derived from tariffs on domestic and international goods. Levying a federal income tax became a key goal for many progressive groups, the key argument being that it was fair for wealthy individuals to pay the taxes and tariffs that had been largely obliged from the middle class and poor in society. That's pretty much the exact same thing that they're saying right now. They want to increase taxes, but they're only going to put it on the wealthy individuals, and people like you and me aren't actually going to see our taxes go up. Well, that's how they got the income tax introduced in the very first place. But now we all ended up paying the income tax, and only the rich people are the people that can afford to have people show them how to navigate all of the loopholes. This has made it to where the lowest percentage of the earners in this country actually pay the most of the taxes. And Donald Trump even brought this up during his campaign against Hillary back in 2016. But people just said that he was bragging about how he doesn't pay enough taxes. He was really saying that he uses the loopholes that the government has created, and he wants to get in there and close those loopholes so everybody pays taxes. But now I think he realizes how corrupt the system actually is, and he wants to make it to where we don't have to pay income tax, but we actually do fund the government again from tariffs like we used to do back whenever we were much more prosperous. Just listen to Kamala Harris talk about how she plans to tax the wealthy, and even 60 Minutes calls her out on her BS.
How are you going to pay for it?
Well, one of the things is I'm going to make sure that the richest among us who can afford it pay their fair share in taxes. It is not right that teachers and nurses and firefighters are paying a higher tax rate than billionaires and the biggest corporations. I plan on making that fair.
But we're dealing with the real world.
This is how Donald Trump is going to be able to increase your portfolio even if the price of your favorite investment doesn't go up. Just imagine how much extra money you would have if the corporations that are making our products overseas and then shipping it back to us actually had to pay the taxes instead of what we do. If you didn't have to pay federal income tax, you would have at least a third more money. And then you could put that money into stuff like paying for a mortgage or maybe even buying a house for the first time. You could buy investments that will build your wealth over time. And you could put your money into things like Bitcoin that isn't going to continue to be printed into oblivion like the dollar. This would make Donald Trump the best president in all of history. And it would probably cause more companies to build things in the U.S. so they don't have to pay the extra tariffs. It would bring jobs to the country, pour money into the country instead of taking it out. And innovation could actually happen here instead of China stealing all of the technologies from the companies that we actually send over there. All around, this would be a really great beneficial thing for America and for its people. And I don't know if it's actually possible for Donald Trump to get rid of income taxes, but we better do something to make this country more profitable because the debt is getting absolutely out of hand. The U.S. debt clock is about to tick over to $36 trillion any day now, and it's on a parabolic run like we wish our assets would be because it just keeps accelerating, and we're already paying more on our interest for our national debt than we're making in taxes. So taxes aren't going to continue to cover the bill, and something has to change. So I hope Donald Trump can get it done, and if he can, then we might see a second win for America. And if you're in on it, investing in companies that are here in America like Tesla and technologies that Donald Trump wants to have innovation happening for here in America as well, like AI and cryptocurrency, then this might be an opportunity to build generational wealth for your family. And Donald Trump is the only one, it seems like, who has this vision and actually is trying to get it done and has a shot at getting it done. So I hope you guys have got your vote in because your financial future might actually depend on it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Can Donald Trump actually lower taxes for most Americans or even get rid of them? And can he actually fund the whole government off of tariffs again like we used to do back in the 1800s? Either way, thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if it brought you value. But most importantly, don't forget to do only good every day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.